Kiernan.
Hi, Chairman Powell. Thanks for doing this. I guess since I'm first, I'll go ahead and re-up Howard's question from the last press conference. Is it time to start talking about tapering yet? Have you and your colleagues had any conversations to those effect? Thanks.
Thank you. So, no, it is not time yet. We've said that we would let the public know when it is time to have that conversation, and we said we'd do that well in advance of any actual decision to taper our asset purchases, and we will do so. In the meantime, we'll be monitoring progress toward our goals. We first articulated this substantial further progress test at our December meeting. Economic activity and hiring have just recently picked up after slowing over the winter, and it will take some time before we see substantial further progress.
Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Leisman.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I want to follow up on Janelle's question, and I wonder if you can help us understand better your thinking about how COVID infection rates and the virus calibrate with monetary policy. As you recall, we had a major resurgence in the virus last fall. And I'm wondering, would you need to be assured that there wasn't such a resurgence coming before you began, I mean, for lack of a better term, thinking about tapering? And what kind of comfort level would you need? Would it be something that would be declared from the CDC or the World Health Organization, for example, downgrading the virus from a pandemic before you had the comfort level to reverse course on policy? Thank you.
Yeah, we really have just articulated the goals that I've just mentioned a couple of times, which is substantial further progress toward our goals before we taper. Now, that's very likely for us to achieve that. It's very likely going to be the case that we've also made really significant progress on controlling the virus through vaccination and other. Those two things should more or less coexist. We haven't articulated a separate test for a state of the virus that we'd like to achieve, because we're not experts in that area. We're really focused on the economic outcomes. And again, my guess is that it's very likely, it seems to me, that for us to achieve the economic outcomes we would need to taper or to raise interest rates, we would also have to have made very substantial progress in getting the virus under control. Not necessarily fully under control. There is a possibility, of course, that we will have ongoing outbreaks over the summer, various regional outbreaks, and potentially next winter as well. But we'll be looking for substantial progress toward our goals, substantial further progress toward our goals as we think about tapering asset purchases.
Thank you.
Thank you. Victoria.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since I am last, let me go back to Paul's question, the first question, and ask you whether, not whether you're thinking of tapering, but why you're not. We're seeing bank lending fall. The markets seem to be operating well. Are you afraid of a taper tantrum, or is it, as one money manager put it, if you get out of the markets, there aren't enough buyers for all of the Treasury debt, and so rates would have to go way up? Bottom line question is, what do we get for $120 billion a month that we couldn't get for less?
So it's really not more complicated than this. We articulated the substantial further progress test at our December meeting, and really for the next couple of months we're made relatively little progress toward our goals. And remember, substantial further progress from our December meeting. And then vaccination started to get more widespread. The economy reopened. We got a really nice job report for March. It doesn't constitute substantial further progress. It's not close to substantial further progress. We're hopeful that we will see along this path a way to that goal, and we believe we will. Just as a question of when. And so when the time comes for us to talking about it, we'll do that. And but that time is not now. We're not that far. We've had one great jobs report. It's not enough. We're going to act on actual data, not on a forecast, and we're just going to need to see more data. It's no more complicated than that.
Well, if you leave rates where they are, doesn't change anything. But does it change anything if you actually tapered a bit? If you spent less, would you still get the same effect on the economy?
If we bought less, you're very faint. So if someone has a volume, they turn it up. But if we bought less, no. I mean, I think the effect is proportional to the amount we buy. It's really part of overall accommodative financial conditions. We have tried to create accommodative financial conditions to support economic activity, and we did that, and we articulated the tests for withdrawing that accommodation. And we think, so we're waiting to see those tests to be fulfilled, both for asset purchases and for lift off of rates. And when the tests are fulfilled, we'll go ahead. As we've done this before. We did it in the last after the last crisis, and we'll do it as those tests are satisfied. We'll do it, and the only thing that will guide us are the tests met? That's what we focused on, is have the macroeconomic conditions that we've articulated, have they been realized? That will be the test for tapering asset purchases and for raising interest rates.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.